Hello, welcome to our Friday evening yin practice. I'm Erin, and I will be leading you through class this evening. We are going to get started tonight in Child's Pose. So, set yourself up, choosing whether you want a traditional child's pose or supported, bringing a blanket or bolster underneath the belly. Stretching out on your mat, grounding the forehead and palms, fingertips reaching long, allowing the hips to sink towards the heels, letting the belly be soft, and allowing it to release towards the earth. Finding stillness in this shape. Maybe closing the eyes. Simply feeling the body connect to the ground beneath you. Starting to notice the breath. And gently bringing some depth and length into the inhales and the exhales. Feeling the belly fill and fall back towards the spine. Just feeling that natural rhythm of breathing that we so often take for granted. Maybe setting an intention for your practice today. Whether that's sending energy to a person or simply out into the world. Whether that's something you are trying to focus on or cultivate in your own life. Or simply a feeling or an idea. Settling on whatever that intention is for you today. We'll exhale all the air out of our lungs, drawing the belly button in towards the spine, and then sealing the lips. Deep inhale through the nose, filling all the way up, and then exhale out the mouth. Audible sigh. In your child's pose, starting to gently rock the head side to side, massaging out the forehead. And then preparing to move. With an inhale, we'll slither forward onto the belly, propping up on forearms, coming into Sphinx Pose. Option here to set up a prop underneath the forehead, or once we fully set up this pose, you could also come down to crocodile, stacking forearms or wrists and letting the forehead rest. Before we do that, though, we're going to bend the right knee, keeping it connected to the floor, just bringing it up to about a 90-degree angle, kind of opening through the front of that hip. And then from here, you can choose whether you want to stay in your Sphinx pose, resting the head on a block, or come all the way down to crocodile. Option as well to bring some kind of support underneath the hip or the knee. And then just allow that hip to open, falling towards the ground. Still sending breath into the belly, even as we're laying on the front of the body. Allowing any tension or anywhere that the physical body is holding tightness to release. And if you've brought the forehead down to crocodile pose, with an inhale, we'll come back up through Sphinx. And then exhale to release that right leg back long towards the back of the mat. And then set up on our left side, bending the left knee. And grabbing any props for additional comfort. And then choosing where you go from here, whether that's staying propped up on forearms, resting the forehead, or calming down towards crocodile. Letting the breath be full and even. Inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the nose. Once again, if you come down to crocodile, using an inhale to bring yourself back up to Sphinx. And then exhaling to release the left toes towards the back of the mat. And then we'll bring palms to plant underneath shoulders, hugging shoulder blades back, finding a baby cobra. And then with an exhale, we'll press up through tabletop, coming to hands and knees. And from here, we will grab our blanket and then folding it up a few times, making a nice little cushion with some height. We'll set it right underneath the belly in our tabletop. And then keeping the hips high, we'll send fingertips out long, chest towards the ground, landing on our support. Forehead towards the ground for puppy dog pose. Keeping the hips lifted here, but connecting the forehead and forearms with the mat. And then choosing the height of your blanket support. The lower you have it, the deeper of a stretch you will get in the shoulders. Sending breath into the belly. And recalling your intention for practice today. One more full inhale and exhale. Next inhale, we'll slowly press back up to all fours and then make our way to seated on the sits bones. Maybe elevating the hips with a prop. And once we've found our tall seat, we'll release the right leg out long, keeping the left sole of the foot connected to right thigh. And again, if you want to use something underneath the knee, keeping it a little bit bent, feel free. We'll inhale, arms overhead, and then exhale, start to hinge forward over that right leg. Coming as far into that fold as you can before letting the upper back and the crown of the head drape towards the ground. Finding our Janu Shirshasana, single leg forward fold. Hands can stay planted on either side of that right leg, or maybe connect to right foot. Or you can bring left arm up and over, finding an open twist. And just allowing yourself to do whatever feels natural. full breath on this side of our fold. And then pressing into palms, inhaling to come back up through center. Send both legs out in front of you. Just give them a little bit of a shake, rock out the hips. And then we'll move to the second side, bending that right knee, sending left leg out long, and then setting up any props that you would like. We'll inhale, fingertips up overhead. Exhale to hinge forward, and then start to round over that left leg. And finding your last full breath on this side. And using an inhale to press yourself back up to a tall seat. Release the legs and take any movement that feels good. From here, we'll be seated the long way on our mat, and then we're going to fold up our blanket to another little support, maybe a little lower than the puppy dog pose height. And then sending legs out long, we're going to place that blanket right at the base of the spine, and then walking hands back. Lay the spine over it, allowing the head to fall to the mat at the top. Arms can fall out, letting the front of the chest and the fronts of the shoulders open. Supported fish pose. Kind of opening up the front of the body. Especially across the chest and the front of the throat. Maybe closing the eyes here. Feeling the belly rise and fall as you inhale and exhale. Finding one more deep breath. With your exhale, slowly rolling to one side or the other. Coming off your blanket. And taking as much time as you need to press back up to a seated position. Blinking eyes open whenever you are ready. In our seat, we'll bring soles of the feet together to touch. Out in front of us, again, maybe setting up your seat. Support. Knees out wide, finding that butterfly shape. Inhaling to a nice long spine before exhaling to start to fold over the legs. Upper back can start to drape. And here we can use a block to support the forehead. If you want, or simply allow the weight of the head to hang. Grounding palms into the earth, or maybe bringing them to rest on the feet. Allowing the hips to open. Last inhale and exhale, pressing palms into the earth. Make our way back up to seated, and then pulling the knees together. We'll make our way onto our backs. Simply rolling down the spine. We'll keep knees bent. Soles of the feet will plant pretty close into the hips. Keeping our block within reach. We'll send arms out long alongside the upper body. And then grounding through the soles of the feet, we'll inhale to lift hips up towards the sky, and then sliding the block underneath hips at whatever height feels best to you, finding a supported bridge. An option here to straighten one leg at a time, opening up the hip flexors a little bit more, sending one leg out long. If you want to do that. And if you've taken that leg extension, just switching out the legs, so drawing that one back in to plant the sole of the foot, and sending the other leg out long. And starting to bring that extended leg back in to bridge pose. From here, we'll start to pull the knees in, up over the hips, and then send soles of the feet up towards the sky, finding legs up the wall. And you might play around with where your block is here until you find that sweet spot that just allows the feet to float over the body. can stay in your legs up the wall a little while longer if you want. Whenever you're ready, starting to bring the feet back down to your mat, pulling the block out from underneath your hips, and taking any last shapes or movements that you need before making your way into your final resting shape, final Shavasana. And whatever that shape is, allowing it to be a place where the physical body can fully relax. And the breath can be free and full. And the body can be open. Letting the eyes fall closed. Tuning out the external world. Simply allowing yourself to be here on your mat, just as you are. letting breath flow through the body. Start to gently wake up the fingers and toes, bringing some movement into wrists and ankles, rocking the head side to side, waking up the neck. And when you're ready with a deep inhale, we'll reach arms overhead, full body stretch, making it really nice and juicy, like you just woke up from a long nap. And then exhale to roll to one side or the other, curling up into a little ball. And taking a few moments to breathe before pressing up to a seat, keeping the eyes closed. Feeling the sits bones grounded into the earth, and crown of the head reaching towards the sky. Feeling that connection with everything living and existing around us and with us. And once again, exhaling all the air out of your lungs, pulling belly button in towards spine, and then drawing a deep inhale through the nose, filling belly, rib cage, and chest, lifting the heart, and then sighing out the mouth. We'll bring hands to heart center, prayer position, taking a moment of gratitude for our ability to take some time out of our day for a yoga practice. And then bringing thumbs to third eye center. Then exhale, we bow forward. Namaste. Thanks, everybody. Happy Friday. I'll see you next week.